Hey guys, and welcome back to another challenge video. If you guys didn't get a chance to see it, in our last video we tried to beat Pokemon Ruby with just an Illumise and a Volbeat. That challenge was pretty fun. It was very different than anything else I've ever done because I had to do it with two Pokemon. I had never done a two Pokemon challenge, but it was very enjoyable. This challenge though, we're back to one Pokemon. That's right, in today's video we're going to try and see if we can beat Pokemon Red with just an Oddish. Before we can get into the rules, we have to take a quick look at Oddish's stats. Now when it comes to Oddish's stats, his weakest stat is speed, and that's the biggest issue with this run. It's such a slow Pokemon, almost everything later on will outspeed it, especially fire types. You'll see. Normally I would show Oddish's moveset, but in this one I'm going to allow TMs, so it doesn't really matter what his moveset is, because I'm going to allow them. You'll see later on why, because it's very difficult without them. Now let's get right into the rules. Let's start off with rule number 1. I am only allowed to use Oddish to do damage in battle. Now for rule number 2. No items will be allowed in battle, including held items. Time for rule number 3. No glitches or exploits will be allowed during the run. Last but not least is rule number 4. I am allowed to use HM slaves. And with the rules out of the way, we can finally get into the challenge. Well, without further ado, let's find out if we can beat Pokemon Red with just an Oddish. I start off the challenge by naming myself Dead because you guys will know that I'm dead inside. Now as for the name for my rival, because I'm dumb and uncreative and couldn't think of anything, I just choose the stock name Blue. Now as for my starter, which is probably pretty obvious, I chose Oddish. Now as for Oddish, I was considering naming it 420 for no reason whatsoever. Definitely not because it's a description that says weed, which I think is funny. I decided to name it Oddball because obviously Oddish and Oddball, and it looks kind of like a ball. It's pretty self-explanatory. Anyway, after naming our starter, it's finally time for us to battle our rival, Blue. Now I made a mistake here and accidentally made my rival choose Squirtle instead of Charmander. I probably could have just reset and changed it around, but I was too lazy at this point and I'm gonna have to deal with it. It's alright, he'll get an Arcanine later on anyway, which is a fire type, making it a bit difficult, so we'll just deal with this now. Now you probably assume with Oddish that this is really easy, and you'd be completely correct because I have Absorb and I take it out in like 2 or 3 shots, winning the battle and defeating my rival. Technically I beat him Black and Blue, which is kind of ironic. Anyway, after beating my rival, it's time for me to try out my future career in the Postal Service. Now after delivering a package to Professor Oak, he tries to tell me how good a trainer I am, but you and I both know that I'm pretty garbage. After leaving Professor Oak, it's time for me to say goodbye to my mother. He doesn't even seem sad that I'm going. Kinda like real. And now it's time to grind all the way up to level 10. Let's get right into it, boys. Wondering to yourself why I'm showing me grinding. It's just to pad the runtime, you know what I mean? Anyway, this is me grinding up at like 400 times speed. Enjoy! Anyway, after that waste of about 10 seconds of your life, we arrive in Viridian City. Now we don't stay in Viridian City for very long, because it's time for us to head to Viridian Forest. Now shortly after leaving Viridian Forest, we arrive in Pewter City. I also realized at this point that my character has X-ray vision, because I can read through the sign, which is pretty cool. And now that we have arrived in Pewter City, it's time for us to battle the first gym leader, Brock, the user of Rock-type Pokemon. Okay guys, I have some bad news. Unfortunately the footage corrupted for the first gym, so I was only able to get the end of the battle against his Onix, but it's obvious that I would have beaten this gym really easily, because I am a Grass type and I have Absorb and they're Rock type. I'm sorry that the footage corrupted, there's not really anything I can do. I'm not redoing it, so just deal with it I guess. I'm sorry. Anyway, after defeating the first gym, it's time for us to head to Mount Moon. While in Mount Moon, it's time for us to battle Team Rocket for the first time. This Team Rocket grunt sends out a Sandshrew to start off the battle. And as you probably would have guessed, Sandshrew goes down to 1 Absorb because it's a ground type. Next up he sends out his Rattata, which goes down to 2 Absorbs. Next up he sends out his Zubat. Now you'll probably be surprised to hear that Zubats were like a big issue in this run, because Zubat is surprisingly tanky and I really haven't got any moves that can hit it really hard. So I had a big problem with Zubats. And there is a lot of Zubats in Team Rocket, so that'll be fun. This Zubat was so annoying, it took so many Absorbs to kill it, like 10 or something, it was ridiculous. But eventually I do take out Zubat, defeating Team Rocket for the first time. Now before I get a bunch of comments asking what fossil I got, I grabbed the Helix fossil. Not that it's even important, but I thought you guys should know. Anyway, after that we are finally able to leave Mount Moon and arrive in Cerulean City. Anyway, after arriving in Cerulean City, it's time for us to battle the Water-type gym leader, Misty. She starts off the battle by setting out her Staryu, but Staryu is no match for me and I take it out with 2 Absorbs. Last up she sends out her Starmie, and for some reason her Starmie uses Tackle. I don't even know why it still knows Tackle, but eventually I do take it out with 4 Absorbs, defeating the second gym leader, Misty. After defeating gym leader Misty, it's finally time for us to battle our rival once again. To start off the battle, my rival sends out Pidgeotto, and then it hits me with a quick attack, but then I put it to sleep with Sleep Powder. And then I attack Pidgeotto with Acid, taking it out in 3 shots. Don't do drugs, kids, they're dangerous. Next up he sends out his Abra. Now for some reason I decided to put Abra to sleep, even though Abra can't hit me because I'm an idiot.
Idiot!
Anyway, I managed to take out Abra with only a few more Absorbs. Next up he sends out his Radiator, and then he hits him with a quick attack doing very little damage. And then I decide to use acid on it, and then I hit a crit. I don't think the crit really mattered, to be honest. Last but not least, he sends out his Squirtle, and obviously Squirtle was no hassle. I take it out with only a few absorbs, defeating my rival once again. Anyway, after defeating our rival, we have to go rescue Bill, who somehow turned himself into a Pokemon. Now after helping Bill, we have to head to Viridian City, and it's time for us to go on the SS Anne and battle our rival again. Once again, to start off the battle, my rival sends out Pidgeotto. I get pretty unlucky against Pidgeotto because my first sleep powder actually misses. My second one does hit, but then Pidgeotto wakes up on the next turn anyway. At this point I'm like, screw it, and I take out Pidgeotto with a few acids. Next up my rival sends out his Raticate, and I decided to use acid on Raticate again, taking it out in 2 shots. But for some reason I feel like I hit Raticate way too hard. I don't know why. It should be fine. Next up he sends out his Kadabra, which is a bit confusing, doing a surprising amount of damage, but then I take it out in 1 shot with acid. Last but not least is Wartortle, and you know the drill, it goes down to 2 absorbs, meaning I've beaten my rival once again. Anyway, after defeating my rival, I have a really awkward moment with the ship's captain. After, for some reason, he makes an 11-year-old kid rub his back because he feels sick. Anyway, I received the HM cut, and now it's time to face the next gym. Speaking of gym battle, it's time for us to battle Lieutenant Surge, the electric-type gym leader. He starts the battle by sending out Voltor, which goes down to 2 acids. Next up he sends out his Pikachu, which goes down to 1 acid. Next up he sends out his Raichu. Unfortunately Raichu does paralyze me, but eventually I do take it out with a few acids after putting it to sleep. Anyway, with Raichu down we have defeated Lieutenant Surge and claimed ourselves a 3rd gym badge. I decide to catch a 2nd Oddish so I can teach it Cut. And before you ask, no, I am not allowed to use this Oddish, only the first Oddish I started the game with. This is just the only Pokemon that was around that you can learn Cut. After catching Oddish, it was time for us to head to Lavender Town. We can't really do anything in Lavender Town yet, so it's time for us to head to Celadon City. After arriving in Celadon City, we head to the game corner, and it's time for us to verse the Team Rocket leader, Giovanni. To start off the battle, he sends out Onix, and I use Petal Dance, taking it out in 1 shot. Next up, he sends out his Rhyhorn, and because I'm still thrashing around from Petal Dance, I take it out in 1 shot. Next up is Kangaskhan, and unfortunately my thrashing round doesn't take it out in 1 shot, leaves it on like 1 health, and then I get confused, but fortunately I break through my confusion, taking out Kangaskhan with Absorb. And with that we have defeated Giovanni for the first time. Anyway, after defeating Giovanni, it's time for us to verse the next gym leader, Erica. To start off the battle, Erica sends out her Victory Bell. Now going into this battle I didn't think I was going to be able to win the first try, but then I was surprised how much damage Acid did, taking out Victory Bell in 3 shots. Next up he sends out Tangler, which is not a grass poison type, meaning Acid is super effective, doing a shit ton of damage. Acid obviously takes it out in 2 shots. Last but not least, Erica sent out her Vileplume. Now honestly against Vileplume I didn't think I was going to be able to win, because if you didn't know, it's the 3rd evolution of Oddish and it's a pretty strong Pokemon, but then Acid did over half damage, which was quite surprising. Obviously the crit mattered, but then I take it out with 2 acids anyway, defeating Vileplume and Erica and claiming ourselves a 4th gym badge. After defeating Erica, it's time for us to head back to Lavender Town, which means it's time for us to battle our rival once again. Once again he starts off with Pidgeotto, which I put to sleep with Sleep Powder and take out with 2 acids. Next up my rival sends out Growlithe. Growlithe also goes down to 2 acids. Next up my rival sends out his Execute, which is a grass type, meaning it goes down to 1 acid because it's super effective. Next up he sends out Kadabra, which also goes down to 1 acid. Last but certainly not least, he sends out his Wartortle, which goes down to 1 Petal Dance, meaning once again I have defeated my rival. Now after defeating my rival I couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. Mustn't be that important. After defeating my rival I used a Silph Scope to turn a Ghost into a Marowak. Now because Marowak is weak to grass type moves, it goes down to 1 Petal Dance. Anyway, long story short, after defeating Marowak I beat Team Rock and I received the Pokeflute. After receiving the Pokeflute I decided to head to Fuchsia City. Now before battling the Fuchsia Gym, I decided to teach Oddish some TMs. This gym was the main reason I didn't make a TM rule, just because this gym is so difficult that I needed TMs to beat it. Trust me. Now I decided to teach Oddish Mega Drain and Double Edge. Let's see if we'll be able to beat this gym with Mega Drain and Double Edge. Let's get right into it. It is finally time for us to battle Gym Leader Koga, the user of Poison type Pokemon. To start off the battle he sends out his Coughing, which I put to sleep with Sleep Powder and then take out with 2 Double Edges and 1 Mega Drain. Next up Gym Leader Koga sends out his Muck. Now Muck is a bit more tanky than Coughing, so it actually takes 2 Mega Drains and 2 Double Edges to take it out. Next up he sends out another Coughing, but this Coughing goes down to 1 critical hit Double Edge. Last but not least, Koga sends out his strongest Pokemon, Weezing. Now it was at this point that I thought the battle was over because Weezing is a very strong Pokemon, but I get it to sleep and then it stays asleep for the entire battle, and I eventually take it out with a few Mega Drains and Double Edges, winning the battle and defeating Koga. I was actually surprised I beat it, to be honest with you. In the Safari Zone we receive Surf, and then we have to go buy a drink from the vending machine so we can give it to the guard to get to the next city. After giving the drink to the guard we can finally head to Saffron City. After arriving in Saffron City, we can head to Silphco and battle our rival once again. This time around, his Pidgeotto has evolved into a Pidgeot, and instead of using Quick Attack, he uses Wing Attack. This time around, it's also a little bit more tanky and doesn't go down to 2 acids, it takes 3 acids to take it out, and this time it does a lot of damage to me, leaving me on like 1/4 of my health. Next up, my rival sends out Growlithe. I decide to use Mega Drain to get some health back and then take it out with Double Edge. Once again, he sends out Execute. I use Acid on Execute because it's super effective and takes it out in 2 shots. Next up is Alakazam, which takes me out, meaning I have to try this battle again. After grinding a few more levels up to level 56, I decide to try this battle again. This time around, I get up to Alakazam again on a decent amount of health when I survive his confusion, and then I take him out with 1 Double Edge. Last but not least, sends out Blastoise, but unfortunately I'm out of Mega Drain, so I have to put it to sleep and then take it out with 4 acids, winning the battle and finally defeating my rival. After defeating our rival, it's time for the second battle with Giovanni. To start off the battle, Giovanni sends out his Nidorino. I take out Nidorino with 3 Mega Drains and 1 Acid. Next up, Giovanni sends out his Kangaskhan, which goes down to 2 Double Edges. Next up, Giovanni sends out his Walking Rhyhorn, which goes down to 1 Mega Drain, fully healing my Oddish. Last but not least, Giovanni sends out his Nidoqueen. And because Nidoqueen is a lot tankier than his other Pokemon, it takes 2 Mega Drains, 1 Double Edge, and 1 Acid to take out Nidoqueen. And with Nidoqueen defeated, we have beaten Giovanni once again. After defeating Giovanni, we receive the Master Ball, which I can't wait to catch a legendary Pokemon with. Speaking of legendary Pokemon, after defeating Giovanni, I realize I need a Pokemon to learn Fly, so I go to a different route and catch a Spearow, using the Master Ball I just got. Now that's a legendary Pokemon right there. Now I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash in the comments saying I wasted that Master Ball. That was kind of the point. Comments are good for the algorithm. If it makes you guys feel any better, I did name the Spearow Master Ball, so technically when you think about it, I still do have a Master Ball. Now for some reason I decided to head to Cinnabar Island next. I don't know why. I completely forgot about the Psychic-type gym in Saffron City. So here we are. Now I know I joke about being an idiot all the time, but this is actually one of the dumbest mistakes I've ever made in a Pokemon game. I've played this game like a million times, and I completely forgot about one of the gyms. That's pretty funny.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Now that we have arrived in Cinnabar Island, it's time for us to battle the Fire-type gym leader, Blaine. Now to start off the battle, Blaine sends out his Growlithe. And then I hit Growlithe with a Mega Drain, which is a critical, doing about 3/4 of its health, which is still surprising even for a crit. And then I take Growlithe out with an Acid. Next up, Blaine sends out his Ponyta, and this is where the fun really begins. Now for those of you who have played a Gen 1 game before, you'll know about a little move called Fire Spin. Now this move in later gens is kind of terrible, but in this game it's really overpowered, because it continuously hits you, and the Pokemon outspeeds you, like Ponyta usually will, like it does right now. It'll keep hitting me and hitting me and hitting me until eventually it'll miss. That's the only chance I have to attack. So I get really unlucky in this battle. You're about to see it, watch. Now I do eventually take out Ponyta because I get a lucky miss, but I'm not as lucky against Rapidash. Now I do get a miss at the end of the battle, but unfortunately I'm too weak and I end up taking myself out with Double Edge, losing the battle, meaning I have to retry. Now before I attempt this battle again, I decide to grind up 3 more levels up to level 68. This time around, because of my higher level, I get up to Rapidash with a decent amount of health. Now my health doesn't really matter because I get super lucky and Rapidash actually misses his first Fire Spin. And then I hit it with a Double Edge, almost taking it out, leaving it on like 1 health. And then instead of using Fire Spin, it actually tries to heal with a Super Potion, and then I take it out with an Acid. Last but not least, Blaine sends out his Arcanine. Now against Arcanine, I was expecting a hell of a fight because Arcanine is one of the strongest Fire-type Pokemon in the entire game. Unfortunately, I was severely disappointed when Arcanine chose to use Ember the entire battle, and then tried to heal twice with a Super Potion while at full health. Sad times. Well, eventually, because of these stupid decisions, I put Arcanine to sleep and then take it out slowly with Acid, defeating Blaine and getting the 6th gym badge. After defeating Gym Leader Blaine, it's time for us to head back to Saffron City and attempt the Psychic-type gym. To start off the battle, Kadabra uses Psychic, which does a decent amount of damage, and I take it out with Double Edge. Next up, she sends out her Mr. Mime, and I hit it with a Mega Drain, doing a surprising amount of damage, over 3/4, and then I take it out with the second Mega Drain. Next up is Venomoth, which I hit with a Sleep Powder, putting it to sleep, and then take it out with 1 Double Edge. Last but not least is Alakazam, which is the scariest Pokemon. I'm pretty sure it could have one-shot me if it actually attacked, but for some dumb reason it uses Reflect twice, and I take it out with 2 Double Edges, winning the battle and defeating this gym, and claiming ourselves a 7th gym badge. After defeating the 7th gym, it's time for us to fly back to Viridian City and challenge the 8th gym. Speaking of the 8th gym, let's give it a go. The 8th gym is ran by Giovanni. Now because this fight is super easy considering it's a ground type gym, I'm going to take this time for a little shameless plug. If you guys have enjoyed the video up to this point, please leave a like on it. If you haven't enjoyed the video, leave a dislike on it and let me know what you didn't like about the video so I can improve. I'm always trying to improve my content. Now while you're below this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, because we're trying to hit 200 subscribers before my birthday, which is May 22nd. I'd really appreciate it if we could do that. It'd really mean a lot to me. As you can tell, I wasn't lying about how easy this battle was. I'm literally still on full health. I bet you guys haven't even noticed what level I'm on. Level 69. Nice. I literally just two-shot his Nidoking with 2 Mega Drains. Last up is Rhydon. Now I'm warning you right now, there's about to be a bad pun alert. Rhydon may as well be a Rhydon mob because I can really destroy him with one Mega Drain, defeating Giovanni and claiming ourselves the last gym badge. After defeating Giovanni, it is once again time to battle our rival. Our rival starts off the battle by sending out his Pidgeot. I take out his Pidgeot with one Double Edge and 2 Mega Drains. Luckily for me, our rival also carries a walking med pack. He sends out Rhyhorn, I hit it once a Mega Drain, taking it out in one shot and healing my health fully. Nice. Next up, our rival sends out his Growlithe, and Growlithe goes down to one Double Edge. Next up is Execute. I use Acid on Execute, but unfortunately that's not enough to take it out. So with the second Acid we take out Execute. Next up is Alakazam. Somehow we survive one Psychic and one Psybeam, and then we take out Alakazam with a few Mega Drains. Last but not least, our rival sends out his Blastoise, goes down to 2 Mega Drains, meaning we have beaten our rival once again. After defeating our rival, it's time for us to head to Victory Road. Nothing really happened on Victory Road of note except for I ran into this really weird looking bird that was on fire. Now me assuming the bird was in pain because it's on fire, I swiftly put it out of its misery. This was very cruel. You shouldn't treat your animals like this, honestly. With that PSA on animal cruelty out of the way, let's head to the Elite Four where we can battle our Pokemon in a entertaining blood sport. Because there's no point to animal cruelty unless you're making money. Anyway, with Victory Road behind us, we arrive at the Elite Four. It's now time for us to battle Elite Four member Lorelei. To start off the battle, Lorelei sends out her Dugong, which goes down to 3 Mega Drains. Next up she sends out Cloyster, and I almost one-shot it with Mega Drain, but it survives on 1 health. And then it heals up with a potion. And then I take it out with 1 more Acid and 1 more Mega Drain. Next up she sends out Slowbro, but after taking 3 times to put it to sleep, I eventually take it out with 3 Double Edges. Next up, Lorelei sends out her Jinx. Now Jinx goes down to 1 Mega Drain and 1 Double Edge. Last but not least, Lorelei sends out her Lapras. Now Lapras goes down to 2 Mega Drains and 1 Acid, meaning we've beaten the first Elite Four member, Lorelei. After defeating Lorelei, it's time for us to battle the second Elite Four member, Bruno. To start off the battle, Bruno sends out his Onix and I take it out with 1 Mega Drain. Next up he sends out his Hitmonchan and I hit it with a Mega Drain, doing a surprising amount of damage, almost taking it out in 1 shot. Anyway, it survives on a little bit of health and I'll take it out with another Mega Drain. And then he sends out his Hitmonlee, which goes down to 1 Mega Drain because it's a critical. Next up he sends out his second Onix, which also goes down to 1 Mega Drain. Last but not least, Bruno sends out his Machamp. Now Machamp is surprisingly tanky and takes 2 Mega Drains, 1 Double Edge and 1 Acid to take out, but I do eventually take him out, defeating Bruno, the second Elite Four member. Now after defeating Bruno, it's time for us to battle the third Elite Four member, Agatha. And this, my friends, is where the challenge gets really difficult. I'm going to speed this up for you guys because the video's already getting really long. There's no way I'm beating Agatha at this level. The main reason for this is all the Pokemon are either Poison or Ghost type, or both, and I have no moves that are super effective against them at all. Now I tried this battle like 30 times and I wasn't able to win, not even get close to winning, so I decided that it was time to go back to the side of Elite Four and grind up a little bit more. So I decided to grind all the way up to level 90 before attempting this battle again. At level 90 I get super lucky against her Gengar and it doesn't attack me at all, and I managed to take it out on full health. I also take out her Golbat in 1 shot with Double Edge, and next up is Haunter. Her Haunter is super annoying because it confuses me a few times and I end up hitting myself a lot of times in confusion, but eventually I had to take out a Haunter with a few acids. Man, I hate Confuse Ray. Next up, Agatha sends out her Arbok, which goes down to 1 Mega Drain and 1 Double Edge. Last but not least, Agatha sends out her final Pokemon, Gengar. Yes, she has a second Gengar. Now this battle against the second Gengar is super annoying because it keeps trying to confuse me, and it works a few times confusing me, but eventually after like 20 million acids I take out Gengar, and finally I have defeated Agatha. Thank God. Now with Agatha defeated, it's finally time for us to verse the final Elite Four member, Lance. Now to start off the battle, Lance sends out his Gyarados, which goes down to 2 Double Edges. Next up, Lance sends out his first Dragonair, and I take it out with 3 Mega Drains. Unfortunately, Lance has more than one of these Dragonairs. Speak of the devil, his next Pokemon he sends out is another Dragonair, but this time around I'm not screwing around and I use Double Edge, taking it out in 1 shot. Next up he sends out his Aerodactyl, which is Hype Beam, doing a decent amount of damage, and then I take it out with 1 critical Mega Drain. Last up is his Dragonite. Now against Dragonite I decided to use Double Edge, thinking it'll do a little bit of damage, but out of nowhere I hit a crit, knocking him down to almost dead, like literally like 1 HP. With literally 1 more Double Edge I take out Dragonite, defeating Lance and the entire Elite Four. Now with the Elite Four defeated, we must battle our rival one last time, aka the champion, Blue. To start off the battle, our rival sends out his Pidgeot. His Pidgeot hits me with a wing attack, doing a surprising amount of damage, and then I take it out with 1 Double Edge, 1 Mega Drain and 1 Acid. Next up, our rival sends out his Alakazam, and I take it out with 2 Mega Drains, healing up my health again. Next up, our rival sends out his Rhydon, and I take it out once again with 1 Mega Drain, healing up my health quite a bit. Next up, my rival sends out Arcanine. Now unfortunately his Arcanine does end up burning me, but I still end up taking it out with a few more acids and a few more Double Edges. Honestly, his Arcanine's moveset is kind of a joke. Next up, my rival sends out Executor, which goes down to 4 acids. Honestly, at this point I just wanted this battle to be over. Now with Executor down, last but not least, he sends out his Blastoise. Now against Blastoise, he uses Mega Drain, doing a decent amount of damage and knocking him into the red. And with the second Mega Drain, we take out Blastoise and defeat our rival, and finally beat Pokemon Red with Only and Oddish. And with that, we have defeated Pokemon Red with Only and Oddish. This challenge was pretty fun. It was a bit annoying at times, but it was alright. It wasn't as bad as some of my other challenges. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, if you like this video, please leave a like on it. It helps me out a lot. And if you didn't like the video, leave a dislike on it and let me know in the comments what you didn't like about the video, because I'm always trying to improve my videos. If you guys have any ideas for any challenge videos you'd like to see me do on the channel, please leave them in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to watch more of these videos, click on the playlist in the bottom left corner of this video, and there'll be all my Pokemon challenges there for you to watch, to enjoy, to binge watch, whatever you want to do. Definitely go check us out if you guys enjoyed this video. Now if you guys want to subscribe to the channel, click on the picture of my ugly mug in the bottom right corner, and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach 200 subs before my birthday, and I really appreciate if you subscribed. And with that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Bye for now.